I had been waiting for Glass for a long time. When I was a kid, I loved everything superheroes. The costumes, the fights, the heroes, the team-ups, the speeches, just all the different bad guys and enemies that they could come up with to fight. And like I suppose any kid, I wanted to be one. And then I grew up and realized that I wasn't going to be able to be one. I figured the closest I would probably come was maybe acting as a superhero in a movie, or writing one, or telling a story about one. And so I got into film to become a part of that world, to get closer, to be as close as possible as I could be to being or writing a speech for a superhero. And as I got more and more into film, I discovered Unbreakable. And it was cool, because Unbreakable was that real-world superhero film. It gave that glimmer of hope to the childhood me that, hey, maybe you could be a superhero in the real world. That maybe there could be a real-world way to be a superhero. And that lit a little spark in me. The idea that superheroes might be real, even in a fake movie, just really hit a spot in here for me. And then Split came out. And Split was a great film. Wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I don't think what anyone else thought it was going to be. In regards to it being an Unbreakable sequel. It was just a really good film. But then that post-credits scene came and bam! Just like that, Unbreakable sequel. And that just fed into the hype for Glass. Another Unbreakable sequel was going to be coming because Split was so good. Shyamalan was back on top. He was all on his form. And then Glass came out. And the reviews were disappointing, to say the least. Nothing was hyped for it. It wasn't supposed to be that great. And so I didn't want to go see it, because I had a vision in my head of a cool, creepy, mysterious twists and turns superhero movie. And I didn't think I was going to get it. But I gave in, went and watched it, and yeah, it was alright. But for a film called Glass, I really expected more of Samuel L. Jackson. More of Mr. Glass. And I think that might have been, I think for a lot of people, one of the key things that they missed. And so I think if I was to make one little fix to Glass, it would be this. Make it Mr. Glass's plan to get David and Wendell to the facility that he's in. Make it his plan. Because as it stands, he doesn't have a plan until about halfway through the movie. And as such, the first half of the movie, kind of boring, lackluster. There isn't a lot going on, and it's, to be honest, a lot of therapy sessions. Which, yeah, I understand that that's the point of the movie, but I think it could be done better this way. So make it his plan to get David and Wendell to the facility that he's at. His plan in Unbreakable was to show to the world that superheroes exist, and here are two of them, and he's in a facility that, with a doctor that is specifically treating him for believing he's a superhero. So we start with Mr. Glass in the psychiatric ward. Do a bit of bookkeeping. Explain what's happened to him in the 19 years since we last saw the character. Explain how, despite their best efforts to psychoanalyze and fix him, they're now having to resort to sedation after his ever-increasing attempts to escape became more and more dangerous. It's been a while since we last saw this character, and we're meant to believe that a man who caused mass terror attacks to find someone who was unbreakable has been sitting quietly in a mental ward. Like, he's a supervillain. Let him be a supervillain. Let him cause havoc and try and break free. And now, because of that, they're having to resort to sedation and, to get the movie going, bringing in Sarah Paulson's Dr. Ellie Staple. But this time, instead of being a psychiatrist who focuses on curing people's delusions of grandeur, she's the person responsible for the machine that essentially delivers a high-tech lobotomy and fixes the condition that he has. Just straight up, boops, out that bit of frontal lobe that allows him to believe that he is special, or that... But in other words, the part that gives him his super intellect. In this, we also set up the ticking clock, as she has to run minimum assessment for a length of time before implementing the procedure. Maybe, say, 3 or 4 weeks. Which just happens to line up pretty well with the amount of time it takes David Dunn to find the Horde after the ending of Split. And as Mr. Glass is being wheeled back into his room, he can see on the TV a news report about the Overseer and and as Mr. Glass is being wheeled back to his room, he can see a report on the TV about the Horde and the Overseer. And voila, the idea hits him. Get the Horde and the Overseer, who he clearly recognizes as David Dunn, to be committed to the hospital he is in so he can break out. Now he can spend a few weeks preparing, getting the cameras installed, finding out as much about the Horde and the Overseer as he possibly can. This is what M. Night Shyamalan is good at, making the ordinary things seem extraordinary through the twists and turns, so I'm sure he can handle it. Then, just like it is already, we see David and the Horde get captured and brought to the same facility Mr. Glass is currently at. The movie goes on like normal, until we get to the end, when the twist happens and just like that, everything's revealed. And we find out that he that he played everyone, because he brought them. Now, this doesn't fix everything, and as for how he gets both David and the Horde to the facility, I don't know. Maybe he finds out where the Horde is hiding the girls, tips off Joseph, and then tips off the police that they're going to be there. Who then... Anyway, there's still a lot of things wrong with this film, even with that change. And I think if I made one change that could fix all these holes, someone else would have thought of it first. But at least this way, with this one little fix, the twist becomes more coherent. And the idea that he's been playing them the whole time brings more balance to the situation, and I think a little bit more entertainment factor to the movie. Because how the fuck is anyone supposed to bring more meaning to a movie that is M. Night Shyamalan shitting on his critics? Anyway. If you like that video, please like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. If you want to see more videos like this, I'd say go look up Nando V Movies. He's a big inspiration to what this channel is. And by big inspiration, I mean I'm kind of directly ripping his thing off. But hey, gotta start somewhere. I'm a writer trying to fix movies. He writes things about trying to fix movies. May as well take inspiration from someone doing what you want to do. Alright,